Welcome to Everyday Health Hacker Podcast. Today we're going to talk about your attitude and gratitude and how it affects you and chronic illness as well as your whole life spirit. So join us today as we talk about gratitude.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Everyday Health Hacker. I'm Mike Herzing, along with the awesome Dr. Lisa Liao.
Welcome back, Mike. We're
Hey.
all glad to be here, and we hope that you guys are going to enjoy today's attitude and gratitude and what we're going to talk about today with chronic illness.
You know, it actually works. All right, folks. Dr. Liao is Chief Medical Officer right here at Meridian Health Institute in Sugar Land, Texas. And she's got some really good stuff to tell you because our goal is to give you the information you need to make informed decisions on your health. And she has helped me a lot for a lot of years. And look at me, I'm perfect. No, I'm just kidding. I'm far from perfect, but I'm a work in progress.
We are all a work in progress.
And what she's talking about today is some really interesting stuff, and it works. I can tell you what, I know a lot of people that use that.
Yes.
And attitude and gratitude.
Attitude and gratitude, and that's actually, the first book that we wrote here at Meridian, Dr. Folds and I. That's what it is all about, is that you have to change your framework of how you deal with your chronic illness. And a lot of those, you guys may not know, but I have rheumatoid arthritis. I spent 4 years in a wheelchair, and everybody's like, well, how do you have such a good attitude? And I'm like, it's a choice. Every day you wake up and you make that choice. And there are studies that have shown that if you have a good attitude, it can decrease your pain levels 20 to 30%. So if you think about it, if you're taking a pain level on a 1 to 10, because we always ask every patient on a 1 to 10 visual analog scale, what is your pain level? 10 being the worst, 1 being the best, or 0 being the best. And we want patients who suffer from chronic pain to be at about a 4. At a 4.5, did you do something about it? When it starts to elevate to 6 and 7, if you have a good attitude, you could get back to the 4. So there's that part where I say this is you as the patient has to do your part in working and changing your attitude, and we're here to guide you as like mentors, not or coaches, as well as being a doctor too.
Well, sometimes you kind of get in your little own pity party, and it's
Yes,
just
easy to do.
I've got friends that are that way, and they'll just, it's just what's going to happen next?
Right.
And there's something that wouldn't bother somebody normally. It's just the end of the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And you get that way, and sometimes you say, okay, you're due.
Yes.
But guess what? If you don't do that, you're going to be so much better off.
Right. So what
Promise.
do you do? And I do believe that everybody needs to vent, and that's okay. So I'll share, you might have a good friend that you talk to and say, you know what, I'm going to put 5 minutes and I'm going to
just going to say that exact thing.
Say, you got 5 minutes, get your pity party out. It's okay to ask for, can I have an extension of 7 minutes, 10 minutes of what that is. But once you finish the pity party, truly visualize, put it in a box, shut the box and put it on the shelf, and don't bring it back outside to play with, because that's holding you back. And when you are holding yourself back, there's truly a neurological frequency response in your body that pulls you down, and we want you to be able to elevate it. And yeah, I'm sharing with a lot of people, there are days that it's just might be hard to get out of bed. So how do you start doing that? Or a person who's extremely anxious and they're afraid to get in their car and go to maybe an interview for work, and everything is just overwhelming. It's taking small steps, but you have to start somewhere. So
Everybody has crappy days. I mean, we
everybody
all
does.
do.
So what do? I always say, it's like, it was a tough day at the office. So, what we do at our family is like, well, what were your top 3 great things to help each other to refocus when your kids come home from school? And, unfortunately, kids have a hard time with other kids sometimes. And so you have to think, what was the best part of your day today, and reframe it. So now they're thinking about the best part as opposed to the worst part. Because unfortunately, studies have shown that when you get a bad comment, when you get somebody that's criticizing you, it takes 7 to 10 positive things before you forget the negative. So if you're looking at Instagram or you're looking at something for a positive and you get something negative, okay, you're going to have to find 7 to 10 positive things before it starts to feel good again. So that's where you have to self-satisfy yourself and just say, hey, I did a good job, and that's what it's all about. Got to help yourself to feel good.
But also, You know another way to feel good? Make other people feel good.
Absolutely.
And just say,
Connect
instead
and
of coming to
contribute.
somebody and they look kind of bad, say, what happened to you? Just say, hey, hey what? It's a great day. You look pretty good. Have you
Yeah.
lost weight or something
That's
like that?
a beautiful smile.
And make them smile. And you're going to find out it makes you feel good.
Absolutely.
I had an employee that used to come in all the time, and he would have a bad day or something like that, and I'd say, all right, what's your problem? What's bad today? And he would write it. I said, write it down. We'd write it down. We'd tear it off a piece of paper, fold it up, and we'd stick it in an envelope or something, and we'd stick it by the front door. And I said, you can pick that up on your way home.
That's exactly.
And he would pick it up, and he says, I actually felt better today. And I was
Yes.
like, well, you just kind of forget that, and the problems won't go away, but it won't weigh you down all day.
Correct.
And
Don't
you can
burden
get your work
yourself
done.
with something that there is a fixable solution.
Yep.
And there's a lot of people that'll say, with my diagnosis, it's not fixable. And that's where I always say, everything that has already happened, God knows.
Yeah.
And this is where faith is a huge part of our practice. And, we wrote a chapter on connect and contribute and how you can help others when you're not feeling good. And it is the most precious thing that, the one thing that you can do for somebody else is you can always pray for them.
Yep.
That's always a great way to give back to someone else.
But also, sometimes some people are upset because something's going on in the world of this or that, or the way the country's going. Of course, that's enough to
Turn off
upset
the
a lot of
television.
people.
Turn off the
Turn off
television.
the television. Go turn on
say
I
that a
Love
lot.
Lucy or something like that.
Love that show.
Or one of those, Carol Burnett or something
Absolutely.
old school that's just nothing but good news, and kind of chill for that, and then, okay, now I'm ready to face it. But just don't listen to, Debbie Downers and all that kind of stuff. Just
Redirect.
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 And that's a good idea. And just take care of the stuff you can control, and kind of maybe not worry about the stuff that you can't control. You can kind of keep it in the back of your mind, but maybe not.
And I share with a lot of
stress over
people,
it.
they'll say, but I'm so stressed, doctor, and, and it's so overwhelming. And I'm like, the situation may not be being done to you. It may be being done for you. Sometimes an opportunity misses us because God has something that's bigger for us.
Right.
And we have to pass that on. Or something goes in our health journey a different direction and we weren't expecting, but now that specialist has come in and has different answers. The key is that if we think of the question, there are answers, but you need to surround yourself with other people who think the same way, because it usually takes a team approach, and that's what we do here at Meridian. It's a team approach, and that's talking to people in Louisiana, Washington, D.C., Florida, and we have people that are experts in all these different disciplines that help us to have patients get to be their very best.
It's like the country song where you pray for this one person and you don't get that, but the one love of your life comes up instead.
Right. It all works itself out. And I remember, and a lot of you are very aware of this, that my mother had passed away a couple of weeks ago, and that's where our hiatus had been in caring for her. And I was talking to one of my aunties, and she was having a Debbie Downer moment, and it was appropriate. She's baby sister. And, I said, let's just leave it at Christ's feet. Because when we leave it at Christ's feet, he's already done it for us. Everything has already been done. And if we can just raise our hands and surrender, because I share that with a lot of patients, even if you're doing phone or video and we're doing a consultation, I'm like, okay, I just want you to pick up your hands, lift them up, and just surrender all. Just come on, everybody do that. Surrender all. It just feels good to do that. So that's what attitude and gratitude are all about, is that sometimes we've got to surrender it and look for the positive. And that might be, hey, I liked what I had this morning for breakfast. That apple tasted so great. Or you know what? My hair did great. It may not be that your hair did great. Maybe you put your lipstick on perfectly. It's the little things that if we look at it for gratitude after gratitude, you will eventually start to feel better, but you have to concentrate on the positive.
It's better than, like I said, you may not have appreciated the breakfast, but it's better than no breakfast.
That's right, because there's a lot of people who don't have that.
The school lunch may not be the best school lunch, but it's better than no lunch.
But there's better than no lunch.
Yeah, and so you just got to appreciate it.
And for those towels that are sitting on the bottom of the bathroom floor that weren't picked up by the kids or the husband, it is, thank goodness I have somebody to pick up after. It's how we frame
sure.
and the solution that goes to it.
Could be worse. Think about the times that before you met whoever, and or before you were around with Duncan, and before I was around Gina and that kind of stuff. And you think about, okay, I didn't have them in my life, and there was kind of an emptiness, and now it's Not.
Now it's full.
That's it.
Now it's absolutely full. And we have to build each other so that we're better as a team than we are as a solo person.
Absolutely.
Which is so much fun.
Look at, see, like us, we're
Yeah,
better
we-
together.
We are. We're better together. He has all the expertise in radio, and he brought that to us at Meridian. And we get to take care of him and his family, which is such a blessing.
Yeah, you're like my best friend. So there we go. It's awesome. All right, folks, if you have any topics you want us to tackle, info@everydayhealthhacker.com. And as always, subscribe. Be
And
sure to
leave
appreciate
us a note. Leave us a note about what you're grateful for today. I'd love to hear about it. And I'd like to put a little heart by that because it's so important to be grateful.
She looks at every single one of them, I promise you. Every single one.
Any questions, please email me at info@everydayhealthhacker or info@meridianmd-dds.com, or just come by and see Dr. Denali. She would love to see you, our Siberian Husky, who also takes care of our patients. So
Right, she's awesome. All
she
right.
is, we are grateful for her every day.
Have a great week.
See you next time.